It's live.
Hello and welcome. Sorry, mate. It's crazy, man. I'm really rubbish with
You move Lee to a more professional setup, and his attitude becomes less professional. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Do you know what, Lee? You're all about balance. Massive believer of that, and I aspire to be as balanced as you, sir. I really do.
Mate, it's been crazy, mate. I'm really sorry. I've just been like working and
No. Yeah, obviously,
I
this isn't the only time we talk. We obviously talk during the week and everything like that. This is obviously the live talk where we're having a good old conversation about great topics, and obviously we've got lots to talk about in this week's episode. We had a little bit of a break last week. I think it was all needed. Everyone needs a little bit of time to recharge, especially Lee's working his arse off, as you can see. He's losing hair by the minute. The more he works, the more he loses hair. And you know him at the beginning episodes, he had lots of hair, and it's gradually getting less and less. But great, Lee, it's great to see you again. It's great to see the face, the mic, and everything. As I said, it's making you look super profesh, looking very nice. How's your week been? Apart from obviously working very, very hard.
Yeah, it's been all right, mate. It's been quite busy. It's obviously starting a new job and doing what I've got to do. It has been hard, but it is what it is. And obviously, my missus's cousins borrowed me this studio for today, which is unbelievable in its house.
Hopefully we can make a habit of this, because it's quite nice.
I'm definitely going to get him on it, mate. Me and him are going to be on the sauce on a Wednesday having a drink up. Just an
fantastic. Well, there we go. Perfect. Mandate followed by walk and talk.
What more do you need in your life? But I was going to say to you, we have launched our podcast. So obviously, anybody's listening now, it's backdated. It's back into the start of lockdown. We had Paul Konchesky, and this Sunday we've got Peter Trainer, who was an absolute star, good friend of mine, top lad, talking about Valor Health and
fantastic organisation. Yeah. It's great anyway to sort of recap on everything that we've previously spoken about with previous guests, as well as previous topics and everything like that. So even if you've heard that that you were there, or you've heard it before, it's always good sometimes to, even if you're on the way to work or whatever, just have a little listen on your phone on the way to work or on the way to school or whatever you do in your time during the day.
Yeah, perfect. To me, today is quite a poignant message. A lad that we got on today is doing a 370-mile bike ride.
You undersold him. You said 300. An extra 70 miles on top of that is definitely something to talk about.
Mate, it's definitely
something to talk about.
It's totally something, something that we need to talk about in the public, and something that's quite a big topic at the moment, which we're all fighting for.
Of course,
for however long we have been. So this will be released on a podcast on Sunday, as well as Peter Trainer's. So there'll be 2 bonus.
You're spoiling them, Lee. You're spoiling them.
I try.
And they're going to be wanting this all the time, and that's not how we roll. Don't put out too much, Lee. Don't put out, because speaking of putting out too much, Lee showed me his nipples before he went live, so he's well up for showing too much.
Mate, needs must. But I think we should get today's guest on. Obviously, today's guest is Jon Ripley, who I know personally, who I've had the pleasure of meeting and walking with and talking all things Rotherham. Wait there, trust me, it's worth the chat. Mr. Rotherham himself, sorry, I'm getting used to the layout here. I'm going to add Mr. Rotherham himself to the stream. Jon, how are you, sir?
I'm all right, yourself?
Yeah, I can't complain, mate. Obviously, we were talking about your bike rides that you decided to do. Mate, the floor is yours. Why did you decide to do that? And
it was a random Forrest Gump moment, wasn't it? I just felt that running.
Well, it were just one of those general ideas, really. Sorry if I keep moving the camera. It was mixed between, well, your idea when we were in Scotland about doing a bike ride to Scotland, but obviously situations we can't obviously do that because of distancing and all that stuff. So I thought it may as well. How would I put it? Try and do something more in England based, and obviously London's quite a good trip. So
Can't beat my hometown, mate.
yeah, exactly. So although it's 375 miles, not 370, well, that's something
So
interesting.
tell everybody what you're doing. Obviously, we walked together for the who was it? Chesterfield to Notts County, and then you come up to Scotland with John, and you walked with us from Celtic to Livingston. So you've done 2 walks, which were 30 miles each.
Yeah,
it was 30 miles each.
Quite impressive, isn't it? Really.
Oh, mate,
So,
totally.
100%.
How did you find the walks? How did you find the walks back then? Obviously, you were new, and I remember talking to you personally about what you were thinking. You were thinking whether you would feel like you was an outcast, whether you felt like you weren't wanted if everybody was speeding off. How did you find the whole walk? The first one, obviously.
Well, I know Chesterfield quite well because obviously I've worked there before, and obviously I've got family from Chesterfield. It's really down to obviously everyone who got involved has a story behind what your organisation's aimed at. And obviously, I ain't really got a story until recently. Obviously, we both know how that's played out, but obviously, but at that moment, it was quite impressive, the walk, because obviously I've come from an 8-hour shift before to come up, and obviously do that for a living. So, but do your part and meet new people, and obviously, obviously I've not done one of these before.
No, mate, I massively agree. I massively agree.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to talk about the recent events, you're more than welcome to. If you don't, then mate, I'm 150% behind you in you not talking about that. I know exactly what's happened.
We're all here. We're all here for Walk and Talk. We're all involved in that. And the reason being is we've either directly been affected by circumstances, or we know someone who's been directly affected. I myself have been directly affected by circumstances in my own life, some really dark ones, and that's how I found Lee through Walk and Talk. So, and we're very open about talking about stuff like that. So, John, if you want to talk about it, that's amazing. It'd be incredible.
Yeah, obviously it's not very touchy. Obviously
everyone's got their story.
Yeah, exactly. You got to go through it to get over it. So
exactly.
Obviously, with the coronavirus, obviously did a lot of work. So obviously, when you do 12-hour shifts instead of 8-hour shifts, day in day out, probably 5 weeks we out, obviously having good rest, food, and all that, kind of takes away your usual self, really. And obviously, I got to that stage where not go out anywhere. You just see same people every day. You don't talk for 12 hours a day, so kind of it's one of those ways of life where obviously you're that focused on work. Obviously, you forget about everything else. So you get to that stage where it's just one of those moments in life, like I said, where you just gotta go through it to get over it and to understand it. And you've got all these people who have been through it, obviously, either with yourself or somebody who has. So obviously you appreciate their time, and that's how you get over it. With you talk to the right people, and then you get your problem sorted. So I think that obviously with what Lee's aim of charity. It's obviously kept me here today. So obviously I want to appreciate that. And yeah, I don't want to move on. Obviously we can talk about it even more, but obviously we've got other stuff to talk about. So I don't
No,
want to
no,
bore you.
I massively agree with you, mate. To me,
Yeah.
what you went through a couple of weeks ago, months ago, was something that kind of like we all rallied around you. I truly believe that what we have here is within the organization is something
Yeah.
that is money can't buy. It is priceless. It's everybody coming together from all walks of life, people not knowing each other. Had we not walked, I would have never met you, John. Had we not walked, I never met you, Beak. Had we not walked, I never met Kevin from Celtic. Had we not walked, I never met Sean from Reading. Johnny. The list goes on and on and on. The people that I would have never have met that have benefited me in my life personally. And I think as an organisation, we are here for each other. You know, it's like, I know it sounds stupid, but a band of brothers, does that make sense? In the sense that
Solid series. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen Band of Brothers. Great series.
Mate, this is
But
what
nailed it though.
I feel we all are. You know, we all go through. When we're all feeling shit, like I'll message Kev all the time. Like I said to you last, obviously we didn't do last week's show. You know, so busy catching up with family I ain't seen for months. And then
it's needed. You know, at the end of the day, we want to try and help as many people, but self-care is extremely important. So having a little bit of a break last week, Lee got to see some of his family and actually just chill out, hang out, grab a beer and not worry too much about things, because at the end of the day, obviously you see us on a Wednesday, but Lee does a lot of work, a lot of legwork behind the scenes to try and get on guests and try and organize and sort things out and everything like that. I just come on, look pretty for a little bit, you know.
You're my Debbie McGee. That's what I should call you, really, to be fair. You're my Debbie McGee.
Exactly. Speaking of people, Sean's put a fantastic question directed at yourself, John, in regards to recent events. He said, how much did Walk and Talk actually help or anything like that with regards to what's going on?
Obviously, they were not only Walk and Talk that obviously played part in obviously why I'm still here today. Obviously, spoke to Calm. Obviously, Lee knows Calm, I think. Obviously, a lot of people do if you're associating with mental health and obviously trying to help people. Obviously, my former situation. Walk and Talk, I would say, was 50-50 out of 100, if that makes sense. Obviously, Calm did a good part, and obviously Walk and Talk, because obviously with Walk and Talk, you're out there interacting and stuff like that. And obviously with Calm, it's a conversation over the phone kind of scenario. So obviously you got to get out and meet people as well as obviously speaking to people on the phone. So it's one of those balanced out situations, I think. So I think that's the best way I can possibly answer that. I don't know if Sean's going to accept that, but
No. We all know Sean. Reading boy, lovely guy. But to me, I think face-to-face meeting with each other is just the key point in all of this. You know, we can phone each other. It's having a rapport with each other at the end of the day when we meet up. And I never met you, John, prior to a walk. I never met you, Deep, prior to, and I've never met anybody else prior to a walk. But it's something that really does hit home to me, and how powerful Walk and Talk actually is when we go down to it and understand what it's all about. It blows me away. But John, I need to ask you a simple question, mate. You've been doing a simple question he asks. You're on a little bike ride. I'm saying little.
He's popped to the shops, hasn't he? You popped to the shops, John.
He's popped to the shops and gone over the hill and a little bit more.
So wait. So it's a Walk and Talk walk over the hill. So 17 hills. Is that where we're going? Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
He's going for it. He come up with this idea. John, I'll let you explain why you come up with it.
Well, obviously, like I said,
and how you finding it.
Well, first of all, it's quite eventful, really. With obviously what's happened so far, with obviously getting sunburn and
you've got sunburn. You've got sunburn.
Yeah,
The
sunburn
northerner
today.
comes down south for a little bit and gets a suntan.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Milton Keynes for you. So
Mate,
yeah,
nothing ever shines in Milton Keynes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we beat them last season, so I think that's enough for them to be.
Little plug. I like that. Nice little plug. Good stuff.
Yeah, so obviously we've done Nottingham so far, Leicester. So obviously we've done Milton Keynes today, and obviously London's tomorrow. So obviously there's a bit of a pattern going on way back. So yeah, so far we've obviously done a lot of mileage so far, etc. So we'll
How
just
have
see
you
how
found
tomorrow goes. Obviously, Monday, Tuesday was obviously broke between 50 miles, and obviously today's been 55 miles alone. So a bit of a change in miles, I think, to obviously cover the schedule for this week to get back in time. So can't just do 30 miles one day and expect to do probably 100 another day. So you've got to balance it out pretty well, I think.
No,
So
totally agree.
apart from the sunburn, John, what other sort of things that are you run? What other sort of problems are you running into? You know, it's not normal to be cycling unless you do it all the time. Unless you're doing Tour de France's. You know, sitting riding a bike for me. All I'm thinking about is my arse, my arse.
Yeah, well,
To be fair, I've been saying
yeah.
this to John all through WhatsApp. We've been talking through WhatsApp during the day, and I've just been worried about his arse. To be fair, having cycled up to Preston and Wigan, literally Preston, it was bleeding all over the place. It was just real bad, and I had Lycra on with padding and everything. It was awful, but I was just warning him that this is the stuff that's going to happen, and this is going to be very, very hard to deal with. Obviously, you sit on your backside, and obviously having that cut and obviously you sweat, and obviously then that subsequently goes into the wound, and it's painful, proper painful. But John, how have you found all these challenges that I found very, very difficult?
Well, obviously cycling bits obviously all right, but obviously I've done probably 30 miles, probably max of probably a trip, but obviously as time goes on, obviously it's going to catch up to me. So bit sore here and there in places. So it's quite embarrassing, really.
No, it's not
No,
embarrassing.
no, not at all.
No,
Not
mate,
at all.
mate. They are war scars, should we say? Like
Yes, great
you
analogy.
put your
Yep.
body through. It's like going for a walk. You get blisters. You get everything going on down on your feet. But obviously, you're cycling now, so you're going to get chafing in places that you never thought you could get chafe. And as a bloke, it's not nice. I know how that feels. And to me, it's kind of, I want to say to you, from a personal level, this is what it's about, man. You know, you just crack on, power through everything, and push yourself to the limit, to the point that you are achieving something for yourself. You know, it's going to be a massive achievement for yourself, and just where you end up. I know we're talking today. You're going to Brentford tomorrow to see the grounds. John,
hopefully hopefully got time for that tomorrow. So see how it works out tomorrow with mileage and time wise. So if not, we'll get time to see it next week before obviously the relay. So yeah, see how.
So who are you with at the moment? Are you on your own or?
Yeah, we've been obviously I've done this solo, and obviously we're going to have a few people join, but obviously due to them going back to work, it's become more of a solo mission now. So
Yeah, I know. I was gonna meet you, but we're going up. We're going up north. It's my nan's birthday at the weekend, so I'm up north, and Nicola's birthday as well. So we're all up north. Her family are obviously northern, so we're all up north. So otherwise, I would have come down and definitely powered through and done a few pedals with you and pedaled with you all the way with a bike.
yeah, that's understandable. Obviously, if you have when I first announced about it, obviously about 10 people want to get involved, but obviously we all live in different parts of town, so 8 a.m. start and 10 people outside, it'd be just quite funny, really. But obviously, you have to wait for other people. Obviously, if you have punctures or obviously injuries, or you're gonna have to obviously spare time. And
You sent me a picture of your hand earlier. Is that through gripping the handlebars? Is that just or the sunburn?
That's sunburn today. On it, day I don't wear gloves, and obviously
He sent me it. He sent me it. Mate, it's not. It's unreal. Like to me, it's recycled from Fulham to Preston and elsewhere. It was absolute slog, and I was telling you this off air and prior to you doing this cycle ride, that it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be really, really hard. You know, you've got to dig deep, and you got to go into like your inner soul, and you got to freaking literally pull out everything you can within yourself to achieve this. And to me, if I had a hat on, which I normally do have on, I'd have took it off for you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
thank you, sir. It does mean the world to me. You know, I know you're campaigning for free charities.
Yeah, 3 others, and including yourself. So obviously there's 4, and obviously you've had obviously Tom Moore's story with the NHS. So I thought may as well do it for some other causes as well. So obviously you can't just have one charity earning all the money. So no disrespect to the NHS, obviously, you know, or Tom Moore, but obviously.
No. Having spent 14 years in the NHS myself, I'm not taking offence to that, mate.
There's a few people in this world probably will do, but obviously, what Tom Moore's done is quite achievable. And obviously, I thought the bike ride to London and back could be an achievable target. If you ever put it like that, sorry. So yeah, obviously. His story was quite good. Obviously, I've had some good interest in this one through fans and stuff, and obviously we know Sam and all that, and Dean and Paul. Obviously, they've shared through social media, and obviously social media has backed this idea with donations and contributions. So it's gone pretty well so far.
Agree.
Yeah, so don't know what else to say really. So
that's all right, mate. That's all right. That's all right. No, it is amazing. You know, what charities are you fighting for? Obviously, Walk and Talk, which is us, which we have. Yeah. Oh, also we were messaging earlier on today, weren't we? And talking about Saturday's walk. I believe you want to come on it after all of this. He wants to come on the walk.
So
Saturday.
Obviously managed to get time for that off from work, so that'll be
well played.
Is it week on Saturday this week?
So the 8th, yeah. So it's Saturday, the 8th of August is the special day. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about it after we've had a chat with yourself, John.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously, come back on Tuesday for work and do 3 days, and then do your 24-hour relay, which obviously we're gonna probably talk about at a later date. Obviously, I've seen Sean wanting to get involved and Paul, so yeah, we'll see. Well, that's another story. So obviously, I'll leave that.
You've got to get this one out of the way first, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
how are you keeping within yourself, within your mindset? How are you finding it? Have you found any dangers or anything, or is it been?
Obviously, when you do something like this, you obviously get to see sights and go up roads other people have probably never done, or areas like family or friends have never been to, or they might have, and you can share stories and all that. And yeah, it's just something what's probably a crazy idea to do, really. Bike ride to London and back. So,
but that's the fun part, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get to do exercise and see things you probably might have never seen. Obviously, if you're not gone, and the common story, really. So
yeah, mate, I agree. I think we can say that. Well, you look at the Livingston walk we went on from Celtic to Livingston. When we done that walk, that I was seeing unbelievable scenery in Scotland that I never thought I'd ever see. If I'm honest, It was picturesque. It was beautiful. And it was an absolute amazing walk with amazing weather. There was no rain. It was just perfect weather to have a stroll. And obviously, we saw sights that we would never have seen any other time. So, mate,
obviously that was my first time out of England, and that was quite eventful, really, with what you had on radio in Paul's car.
So we met up. I'll give you context to this story. We drove up from Hayward's Heath up to Warrington. We met John and Paul in the Warrington service stations. About what time was it? Would you say, John? It was about half 9, 10.
Oh, what, for the Scotland walk, or was it?
For the Scotland walk. What time did we meet you in the service stations?
Oh, obviously, me and Paul had gone to the Notts County game, so I think it was was it 11 or 12?
Yeah, probably 11. Let's go 11. Anyway, we met up. We've gone up to Scotland, so we're driving up to Scotland. John's in the back, booted him in the back. I'm the DJ, loving it, giving it large, playing the music. Me and John are singing all 90s classics. Me and Paul are singing 90s classics. John's looking at us thinking we're old codgers. I'm laughing the arse off, right? So as I thought to myself, wait, what was number one when you were born, right? So I've gone to John. John, what year were you born? He goes, 1998. I went, all right, mate. All right. When was it? 3rd of July?
3rd of July, yeah.
3rd of July.
Yeah.
And I've looked on my phone. I've got the phone out and I'm going,
Spice Girls.
No, it was the second version of Football's Coming Home.
Oh, the 98, of course, the remake 98 Battle on Skinner, yeah?
Me and Paul looked at each other and just went, fuck off, John. literally, we just went, mate, I can't believe that, man. How the hell were you being born? This was like...
I remember that very, very vividly. That song and everything like that. Euro 96 was the first England kit I ever bought when I was a kid.
Oh, mate, I'm older than you.
I know, but yeah.
I feel old. What's your plan for tomorrow, John? What is it? Where are you going and what are you doing?
Obviously we're in Milton Keynes now, so obviously we're going to ride to London tomorrow, which is 55, I think, or 50. Well, probably in the 50s anyway. So obviously we're doing 55 today from Leicester to Milton Keynes. The A6 was pretty interesting. So
elaborate on that.
Oh, it's a story to tell.
There's something to be said there. You see more dead wildlife than you've ever seen before in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's quite strange to describe, really. A6. There's a lot of cars.
Nailed it, John. Nailed it. I that's exactly what I expected, and you nailed it. You delivered, John. I love it.
Yeah. So quite a narrow escape, really. The Great Escape.
Right, Steve McQueen style. Okay.
I saw a tweet from you the other day regarding a narrow escape with a car.
Oh, are you on about the Loughborough incident?
Well, I'm not being funny. I've always texted you, said, mate, be safe. Like, literally, don't trust anybody else. The only person you can trust is yourself on this. Because
100%.
Always think 5 meters ahead of yourself, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Obviously, trying to think now. I think he cut a corner, and obviously, I didn't think he realised I was there. So obviously, like I said, it was a near escape. Obviously, yesterday we had an incident where I nearly broke my leg. So that was an interesting one between a bus stop and a bus stop.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Wow.
Mate, that's not good. You've got to take time.
Yeah, true.
Nothing's worth the rush, mate. Nothing's worth the rush. If it says on Google Maps it should take you 5 hours, If it takes you 8 hours, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather you get into anywhere safe and sound rather than rushing it and pushing yourself to the limit and hurting yourself to the point that you're going to injure yourself or get really hurt in the sense that you're coming off the bike, which I don't think none of us want. None of us want.
Self-care again, man. The message is very, very important. Self-care. It's a fantastic thing, John. Obviously, what you're doing, doing this incredible 370 mile cycle ride, supporting 4 fantastic charities. But remember, self-care is extremely important. You can't help anyone if you're not able to help yourself mentally and physically.
Exactly,
so, I've got a couple of questions for you, John, if that's all right. One, what preparation did you put in for this cycle to the shops down the road in London?
Over the hill and far away.
Exactly. Yeah. So what sort of prep are we talking? Have you got the full gear? Have you got the Lycra gear? Shaved your legs? Armstrong. What was the cyclist's name?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, Lance Armstrong.
I've gone Chris Boardman, but
that's fair. Well, but yeah. So John, what sort of prep are we talking here?
Well, you got to look at calorie consumption, really. Food-wise.
Self-care, very important.
Exactly. Yeah. Obviously, we idea being 2 weeks before. Obviously, we started. You have to practice, and obviously, I walk a lot at work, so you can use that as a benefit, really, for leg movement and all that. So it narrows down to practicing mileage. Obviously, we did a few. Obviously, we did Castleton back home, and obviously we got stuck in rain, so that were quite funny, really.
The elements as well, yeah. The elements is obviously another factor that you need to weigh in there. You're not in a car or anything. You're out in the elements. You're going to get wet, and you're going to get sunburnt as well. So
yeah. So obviously you got to wear suitable clothing, obviously, with jackets and lights and a good helmet and all that. And,
of course, yeah. Well, yeah.
Obviously, we had a few punctures on way, and obviously had to call up mum and dad to obviously change the tires. And obviously, they weren't impressed going up to Nottingham and Leicester. Yeah, obviously, you're going to try and get to London without a puncture or an injury. So
that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See, there's loads of things there that I wouldn't normally think about. Punctures as well, like maintenance of the bike. It's an extra element that you need to think about. With walk and talk, you kind of just bring yourself, but obviously with the bike, you need to think about the maintenance of the bike, making sure that the chain stays on and it's oiled, and the punctures, and making sure you've got gloves so you don't get burns on your hands or anything like that from the handlebars or whatnot. Now, my second question, John, what's been your favorite experience so far? Because obviously doing this, there's a lot of moments where what I love is with walk and talk is there's moments where you find yourself thinking to yourself in the situation that you're in, you're doing something incredible. Yeah. And you really are, John, you are doing something insanely incredible. Okay. Have there been moments where you've been thinking to yourself going, wow, I'm just cycling here and I'm seeing some amazing things and I'm having some amazing experiences. So what's been so far your best experience? I know you're coming to my hometown tomorrow, so that's going to be a great experience on its own. But so far, there we go. But so far, what's been your best experience of this expedition thus far, John?
I think pushing myself. Obviously, you're going to get aches and pains. And obviously, if you carry on, you'll get over it, and your body adapts to the pressure and the drive, and obviously that pays off. Obviously, if you're going down A6 and all busy roads and all that, you're going to find it boring. But obviously, you've got steady roads afterwards, and obviously people around, and the sightseeing kind of makes up for the bad parts of it. Obviously, if you're gonna, let's say, get an injury up way and you carry on, you're gonna see some good sights. And I don't know if I'm going off topic, obviously.
No.
Well, like I said, obviously the people around, obviously if they ask you, "Are you all right?" or "Do you need anything?" etc., kind of makes up for obviously what you're going through. If you got obviously a pain in your knee like I could have had yesterday, obviously that's been made up by people who took the time to appreciate obviously the situation you're in. Obviously, see if they can solve it. Obviously, like with the walk and talk. Obviously, if you've got a story and you tell it, obviously Lee's or someone else is going to take that in and obviously give you advice and obviously share their experiences, etc. So it kind of pays off both ways, really. So I think that's having a.
So the general public been quite supportive of you. If you opened up and kind of explained what you're doing and why you're doing it to, for want of a better word, strangers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Obviously, we were up in yesterday. Obviously, nearly breaking my leg. A guy walking past who had obviously, I think, lived around the corner or outside somewhere. Obviously, he asked how I was. Obviously, I said I was fine. And obviously, we got talking about football. I don't know how that came about.
Mate, trust me, there's a reason why Walker's Talk started. Because every time I ever talk to a man, it's always regarding football, nothing else. So I combined the two to try to achieve what we're trying to achieve and end male suicide and get people to talk, get people to open up and get people to be friends and understand that there are people out there to want to help to each other. Football is key in this. I can't bang this on enough. You know, it is amazing that literally anybody that's listening to this, the next bloke you speak to, random stranger, first thing you do, talk to them about football and watch them change their attitude towards you and open up and literally want to talk about football. It is the most bizarre thing you'll ever see in your life. Sorry, John, I interrupted you there. Go on, mate. Sorry.
Obviously, we going back to football. Obviously, I didn't really go to matches till obviously met people at college, and obviously my parents aren't asked about football. Obviously, I think my dad went to a Wednesday game years ago, and he found it boring. So
it's Sheffield Wednesday, like
exactly. All his families used to be Wednesday fans, so
fair enough.
Where he got it from, obviously. Club our support. Obviously, we hate him. So obviously, my mum's not a fan of football, but we all come from a family who like football, so it's quite one of them 50-50 situations, really. So obviously, we play FIFA with some family members, and obviously, she sits there and pretends. Obviously, she's not listening to it, but you know, obviously, when you score and make a scene, she's got to just pretend that she knows which team's winning.
It's amazing. But talk to me about the fella. You had an incident, obviously, regarding nearly breaking your leg, which we don't want at all. But talking to the fella, randomly talking about football, what was that for you? What were you talking about and why?
Well, he could tell I went from Loughborough, so he was
relaxing like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, I don't think where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, Rotherham." He goes, "Oh, I've not been to Rotherham for years." And I think he watched a match. I think it may have been Loughborough versus Rotherham. Well, he was going on about it, and he went happy. I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because Rotherham won." So I was like, so that was pretty entertaining, really. But obviously, you're a nice guy, and you appreciated time, and so like I said, it were either even if you support teams that you're in. Example, me being Rotherham, and obviously my cousins and aunts, obviously Wednesday fans. Obviously, you got to put rivalry aside. Obviously, it's family and all that. So, yeah, it's one of those things, really.
No, definitely. So tomorrow's a big day for you. You're off on what is it, the final part of the journey, or have we got more to go?
Obviously, we've done Rotherham to Nottingham, Nottingham to Leicester, Leicester to Milton Keynes. And obviously, the big one's to London tomorrow. So obviously, you got to do it all on the way back. So it's going to be one of those
that's not good or wise. I bet you're regretting saying you'll do it reverse as well.
Go watch out, John. It's all uphill on the way back.
Yeah, some of it's been. It depends which way, really. Obviously, I've had a taste of obviously what we've come across so far. So obviously, if it's the same way back, obviously we're going to be all right. So if not, obviously we're going to have some problems. But
You'll be fine, John.
We'll get by. So
you'll be fine, John. You've nailed it thus far. Obviously coming up to the the one of the major parts of the leg, and London's going to be fantastic. Obviously, this is a biased opinion, but I love London, obviously. And yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, you're going to be absolutely fine, John. You're going to love the experience. I'm so in awe of what you're doing. The fact that you've just done this off your own back, as opposed to someone else mentioning it to you and you getting on board yourself. You've kind of just done it and just gone, right, I'm going to do this. There's not many people that they've got good intentions. A lot of people got great intentions. But seeing something through to the end is something that not a lot of human beings have it in them to do so. The fact that you're doing this and not doing something, and you're not doing just a sort of half-hearted version either. You're doing a full thing, 370 miles. There and back is just monumental. So I once again, John, just absolutely well done. Absolutely,
no.
Seriously, really, John, really well done. Well done.
No, I totally emphasise what Deke said there. I take my hat off to you if I had a hat on. Absolute wonderful and magical what you're doing. I want to see more pictures on social media, if I'm honest, John. I want to see films, like make us get involved in it. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's the task for you coming back. So on your journey back from London, back home, at least make a couple of videos of you communicating. Have you got like a little holder on your bike, on the handlebar for your phone?
The only issue is obviously we follow maps on my phone, so
straight roads, a lot of A roads.
Woman, I swear to God, the amount of rows I had with her, it's been unbelievable. I even had a row with her today. But John, literally, please, we're sending you our best wishes. We are 100%. Sending you every love and respect to you. You've been amazing, and to take this on, like Deke said, to take this on off your own accord is something very special and very unique. You are a special guy. We all love you. We all miss you, and hopefully we will see you on Saturday. If you don't walk, it's fine, mate. I don't think there's going to be a problem,
exactly.
mate. We'd all support you, but please shout out your Twitter account.
Socials, get those socials out there.
Well, it's at JRipley98. So obviously, everything's on there with the GoFundMe account to do with the four causes. So obviously, there's been quite a few people who have took the time to get involved and obviously appreciate what's the involvement is without mixing up the words. So for obviously who've been involved so far, I appreciate it, and we've had quite a few football clubs involved and bands, etc. So obviously, the more support, the better. And obviously, what we've got so far is very interesting. So I appreciate the time. So thank you,
John.
Perfectly put, mate. Perfectly put. You have gone crazy on this, and it's been a lovely little child of yours. You've just literally organically grown this, and when you take on yourself, it's perfect, mate. To me, I think you're an absolute genius for doing what you're doing. It's a hard slog, it's a long slog, and it gets to a point where you're cycling and you feel like you're not moving. I think once that kicks in, I think you just got to literally, it's pure and utter determination of achieving things. And mate, I can't thank you enough for first of all doing this, and second of all coming on tonight's show. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. But we will keep updated with you, and if you do come down on Saturday, I'd love to hear more of the stories of what you've done.
Because during the live stream, exactly,
it'll be streamed live. You've got 24 hours to talk about what you want to talk about.
Jibber jabber about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, on behalf of all of us here at Walk and Talk and me and Deke personally, I say that I love to you, mate, and hopefully you get to London okay tomorrow. You need me. Please just message me and I'll get to you or do something positive. Please do, mate. I'm kind of saying that, mate. But do you want to have the last say of the show, John?
I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching.
Love it. Really on point. Poignant.
Really on point. So next week we're going to have a few non-league players. Obviously, we're going to talk about the walk coming up with 24-hour walk. The GoFundMe page is going to go up tomorrow, and there's going to be a lot of action regarding this. So hence the tired eyes, hence the mate, it's been crazy. It's been very, very busy, but we've got to do something. We've got to achieve something. And to me, it's by fans, for fans, and together we can achieve a lot. So till next Wednesday, Deke, sir.
Absolute legend, John.
Yeah, John.
Enjoy London, John. Enjoy it.
I will. I'll try.
Good man. How long is
try?
your stay in London? How long are you staying in London for? A couple of days, or
just for one day? Obviously, you've got to do. Obviously, you got to cross over. Obviously, 50 miles per day. Obviously, there's 7 days.
Sure.
So
any plans on any plans of what you're doing in London? Are you going to take like half a day to just do a little bit of something or something?
Well, it just depends
on the sightseeing tour bus. What do you think he's going to do?
Who knows? What any ideas of what you might do, John?
Might invade the Brentford ground, so we'll see how that goes. So
don't talk to me about them. They're winning 3-0 at the moment.
Oh, of course, the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs are on today. So
of course. John, the Emirates. The Emirates is where you want to go, mate. The Emirates, Arsenal. Arsenal.
If we play in FA Cup, then obviously I'll consider it.
Well, of course, the FA Cup is this Saturday. We're playing Chelsea.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
that's going to be interesting.
So, next season, so we'll see. So
good man.
Yeah, with the Rotherham, yeah.
Good man,
John.
So, yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Deke, it's been a pleasure. Boys,
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks to everyone that obviously got involved as well via the live stream. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we would really appreciate it. Even a like, share as well. Chuck it around. We are now on doing podcasts of the episodes as well. So obviously you can go back and listen to previous episodes, including one of our first guests, Paul Konchesky. The great Paul Konchesky that Lee managed to snag and bring on. Conversation, yeah.
Iron Mass shop is open.
Yes.
So we got to get together.
With Paul Konchesky. Let's go.
More than welcome, John. More than welcome, mate.
Of course.
Well, you never know. You might end up on this podcast. You'll see. You never know.
There we are. There we are.
True.
Oh, well.
So till next. Sorry we were late again. I'm really sorry. I know I'm hanging this.
Yeah, we're running a little bit late this evening, guys. But obviously, you know, IRL stuff.
I'm tired.
Lee looks like he needs a shower. He looks like he needs a shower and a nap.
Look, mate, I ain't even slept.
He's not even out of his work clothes. He's just there. He's in it. He's involved.
It's crazy. And this was right. People, be good, John. Love you to pieces, mate. You're a star, and I will phone you tomorrow at some point. Big